How was the day for everyone? The weather is troubling? Yeah? Snow? Who's experiencing South Bend snow for the first time? Oh, many. Oh. Nice. And the others are used to it. 3 years? And so you got pretty used to it.
I wonder if this is the last snow.
Huh?
This is the last snow.
Oh.
Oh, the previous year.
Yeah.
If I recall correctly.
Yeah. Last year it was very snowy.
Yes.
Yes.
And the school, university goes down.
Yeah.
So,
Hi.
More than this?
Hmm?
Last year was more than this.
But this is nothing.
Oh my gosh, I will need this.
It was more than this.
Oh.
And this time it started snowing very late, I would say. Last year it was earlier. We all could have a look at the feedback I've sent. Is it helpful? The feedback? Huh? We have one new classmate among us. Please, would you mind introducing yourself? You can sit and be comfortable.
Okay.
Relax.
I'm Ivan and I'm from China. Now I'm a senior student, changed in this semester. My major is operations management, and probably that's all.
Welcome
glad
to
see
the
you
class.
guys.
Welcome. Awesome. Which department you said?
I'm sorry.
Which department?
Department like is
Or major? Which major?
operations management.
Ah. Cool. Cool. Any particular expectations from this writing course?
Is probably I will like pay a lot of attention writing paper in future, because I'm planning to
Do graduate program
yeah
after this because you're already senior.
PhD degree,
Yeah.
so a lot of
Yeah.
paper working.
Any particular area that you would like to work on or department for graduate program for your masters in future?
Yes, it's the same.
In operations mostly?
Yeah.
Yeah. In business operations?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Welcome. Hopefully this course will benefit you. I'll give my best so that I can help you out.
Thank you.
Yeah. Could you access Canvas?
Yeah.
Let's begin. Yes, it's done. So good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all have checked the feedback I have sent. Any queries you can ask me right now. Feel free to ask. Was it helpful? One video was on general feedback on the act of summarization, and another was individually I tried to at least talk a little about all the submissions. If you have any query, you can write to me also, email me. And we'll have classes on summarization, no worries on that. But I got a pretty good idea about the condition at the moment we have on our writing style. So maybe I couldn't give you feedback,
No worries.
because I have uploaded that before you sent me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
No,
so
but I
it's
saw
fine, but I'll give it to
I
you.
saw the feedback for
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can also have a look at that,
Yeah.
and I'll give you feedback. No worries.
Can I
Yes.
ask a question?
Sure.
So we did summarize for 2 papers, right?
One.
You wanted 5.
Oh, there are 2 files. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yes.
if I have like article like 9, 10 papers, and I want to summarize that in 100 words, for example,
Mhm.
is there like a specific method to do that, or?
Yeah. So
Let's talk about it, no worries.
generally, the summarization is called 1/3 of the original text. That's what it is called. 1/3 of the original text. So let's say the text is 1,000 words. So then your summary should be 300 words, right? So now that's a very general concept of summarization, which is not applied in for the graduate students. Why? Because when we are writing our own research papers, we do not need to know the thesis statement of the original text. You will pick what you need. You might not need what that research problem or goal is. You might need something else from that paper. Right? You have already started working on your topic. You might have already started searching for your reference materials. So that research problem might not be your research interest, but there might be some other data that you are interested in that particular reference, in that particular paper. So whenever we are writing literature review, your data or your evidence, right? Based on the theories and existing research works that you're studying. So you'll actually summarize based on your interest at this level. But generally, yes, we try to understand the thesis statement of that particular paper that you're reading. Yeah, the way I explained in the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then again, you back up that thesis statement with a few examples and references. You back it up. The statement that you have just made, you have to back it up with some evidence. That's it. And the length is usually 1/3 of the original text. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
But for now, we already have a topic in our mind, perhaps, or maybe you are generating a topic. So now, the reference materials that we will look for, you don't need to understand or you don't need to actually work on that particular research goal. Rather, you have your own research goal and you will be using that existing research data, whatever you think will be useful for your paper, right? And based on that, you make your summary. So everyone's thesis statement or focus area would be different. So let's say I'm reading a same paper, you are reading a same paper. We might not pick the same topic from that paper. Based on my research goal, I'll find something else to refer from that paper. Based on your research goal, you'll find something else to pick from that paper. You know?
Okay.
So that would be varying. So let's begin. Today we are going to talk about language style, understanding our audience and purpose. So my first question is, whom are we writing for? In academic writing, anything in mind? Who is your audience?
Professor.
Professors, one. Others, what else?
Scientist.
Scientists, okay. Anything else? There are more options.
It could be like potentially other graduate students, like I'm thinking
Good.
of PhD and
Peers,
yeah.
your peers. Yeah. Who else?
Public.
General public, readers? Yes. Could be.
Is your question as a PhD candidate or as a scientist?
Whenever you're writing.
Uh,
When you're writing and publishing something, so who's your audience? Depends on you.
yeah.
Depends on that, you're choosing your vocabulary, structure, and everything. When you're writing for your professor, you're actually discussing with him things that he doesn't like or she doesn't like. You'll not incorporate those things, right? So when you're writing for public, then the language will be varied. A lot, right? Because I might, let's say I'm a public, I'm a general public. I don't know your vocabularies or terminology. We are also writing for editors. We are submitting somewhere to get it published. So there is an editorial committee, right? And they might not be from exactly our discipline. So we have to choose vocabulary not that massy and also not that much incomprehensible that the committee will not understand what I'm trying to say. Right? So that's why we need to work on our language, and that's the journey we'll be having throughout this course. Let's begin with two simple things, nominalization and phrasal verbs, as we are talking about language. I have also attached this link in the slide. We all know what is nominalization? Let me show you an example. As I was reading your draft of summarization, so I thought, let's start with subjects. So in every sentence, which subject should be the subject? Which noun phrase should be the subject? We have options. For instance, have a look. This two sentence and this two sentence. Anyone who can read it out loud for me? Would like to volunteer? Can anyone volunteer, please?
The many children sentence?
Yes.
Many children experience worries when they go to school for the first time.
Now, someone else who would like to read this one.
The experience of children with respect to being at school for the first time is common.
Gotcha. Now let's talk about it. The two sentences, they have same meaning. Now what's the difference? In the first sentence, we don't have a nominalization. Nominalization is when we make this word subject, experience, then we'll have a long string of subject. Because experience of children, make sense? Or many children experience. So when we have long string of subject, now this is a very simple example, but when we'll be writing about our discipline and long sentences and paragraphs, things will be complicated. So that's how we can be precise and avoid long string of words. The more precise you will be, the more narrowed down your sentence structure will be. Focus on the subject first. We'll get to know the other parts of speech in a sentence, and then in paragraph, and then in essay, and then in paper. We'll talk about those things later. So the main point is we'll have some exercises as well. We'll look into more examples how we can avoid nominalization. Sometimes nominalizations really help. Those are exceptional situations when actually you need to make the nominalization your subject. You need that this noun as your subject, but try to avoid it any long string of words because that would be hard to follow. So another example. Elephants argue over small concerns. Arguments over small concerns. So we get to know the subject very late, right? So it would be hard to follow in case of complicated sentences. Any question, query?
It sounds more professional or not
To do that one as a subject?
Yeah.
Then while reading these kind of sentences, you would not know what arguments you're talking about. You'll get to know it later.
Okay.
So for long paragraphs, you will lose the focus off and on. Making sense? Now it's a very small sentence, that's why it doesn't bother us.
Yeah.
But when it will be a long paragraph and every one or two sentences you'll use, or you will see nominalization, even maybe while studying right now, you might have already experienced many theorists use nominalization. So it's difficult to read at once. You might have to read that theory twice to understand. So that's the reason we might not always get what it's talking about. So try to avoid long string of words unless it's mandatory, unless that's the subject, unless I'm writing a paper on arguments, unless I'm writing a paper on experience. So focus on your subject and make that your sentence noun. Use that noun as your subject of the sentence. That focus on that particular subject to lead the sentence. Making sense? Another topic today that we will discuss, verb. So it's called phrasal verbs versus Latinate verbs. Latinate verbs as in examine and look into. They have the same meaning. In academic writing, we do not use phrasal verbs. It's better to use, if you can express one thing with one word, do not use 3 words. That's the basic formula to start with. Simple. If you need to use 3 words, use 3 words. If you can explain something with 1 word, do not use extra space. If you can explain it with examine, do not look into. Make sense? And the list goes on. There's a huge list of such words. So we'll practice a few such things. If you have the hard copy book, or I can show it to you per usual, page number perhaps 18. Yeah, task 11, unit 1. I don't mind if you use hard copy book or if you have Canvas. If you need any help in Canvas, how to go to per usual from Canvas, let me know. And this is a group task, which means you can do it on your own right now. It's just fill in the blank. You have to use Latinate verbs replacing the phrasal verbs. And you have options also. So we'll practice a little bit, and then before sharing, you can discuss with your team. Now, how shall we form team? That's what I'm thinking. So let's say 3 persons in a group. Sounds okay? 3 or 4. Minimum 3, max 4. All good? So we have, now you're free to choose your teammates. And you can do it together. Why we're doing it together? Because responding to 15 each or 12 each students would take more time. It's better I respond to 2-3 groups. And how many fill in the blanks we have there? It's 10 only. Nice. Did you get to per usual?
Yeah.
Are you in Canvas? So how the groups are formed? 3 to 4, minimum 3, max 4. I hope this, you all 3 are in one group, and then you 4. Cool, yeah, 4. And then what about here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 and 2. Right? Okay, cool. Yeah, sure, please. And here the sentences, the examples, are actually part of academic writing. Here the sentences are not about elephants arguing or small children experience, right? The purpose of this paper is to try to figure out what is lacking in correct understanding. So the way we use it in our paper.
How I can begin the book from here?
Hmm.
How can I get inside the book?
This is lecture 2B today. Work on it.
Oh,
This is the one, right?
okay, so page 18, right?
Right.
Okay, that's. I think so.
We're done?
So you can use this You're right, because I reach.
Oh yeah, the conversation, the internet.
Done?
It's very slow.
The internet is weak, so we can't add the comment. For example, can
You don't need to write there. You just speak.
okay.
If you want to see here and then speak, that's also fine. You don't need to write anything, submit anything anywhere.
Oh, okay.
All submissions always will be on Canvas.
Oh, okay.
Today we'll just discuss everything. Today, no writing submissions. So, the screen is visible, I mean readable. It's now, I have made it smaller to accommodate all the numbers and sentences. Shall we start discussing? Done? Cool. Let's begin. So group one shall we start from here or there? Group one from there? Yeah? So the first sentence, group one,
Should we read this?
put up with, huh? What's your choice? Tolerate. Anyone would like to say something else? We all agree with the first sentence? Nice, thank you. So we will not prefer put up with, rather if we can explain things in one word, we'll write one word, tolerate. The next one, group two. Please go ahead, yeah. Scientists are investigating, right? So we need to change the verb form also, it's present continuous tense. Investigating innovative drug delivery systems. Anyone who might suggest alternative? We all agree?
Developing.
Okay, I expect it. So we have an alternative option. Developing. Would you like to counter? Why developing you might not choose for this sentence?
When you're looking into something, you try to investigate. I'm not quite sure, but this is what it does have sounds to me.
Okay,
I'm looking into someone, investigating, but develop.
so where have you used investigate or investigate verb? Group 3, right? Or
I know. Well, I wrote those two options, but I didn't say
so let's say if we use developing here, then my question is, where have you used investigating?
okay.
Yeah, got my point? Let's say we are using developing here. Is there any other sentence where you have used the verb investigate? I mean, we have this option. So if we are using develop here, then that means we are using investigate somewhere else.
I mean the third one, to investigate.
The purpose of this paper?
Yeah, I think we use developed in fourth sentence.
Researchers have developed hybrid vehicle.
Yes, that's.
Okay. You said yes, so you use develop twice?
I have like the two options.
Options. Cool. So what's happening? Is something happening with internet?
Yeah.
It's the same here.
Just wait a second. Maybe it's coming. That's the problem with tech. Yeah. So let's say scientists looking into. I would go for investigating. Scientists are investigating and develop better suits in the sentence. I would say it better fits in. Researchers are developing a hybrid vehicle.
But if the choice is not given to us, like the words are not given, developing does fit the context of the second sentence as well.
Yes,
If
if the choice is not there. But even if you have to be really meticulous about the exact correct verb form, then
But developed comes with preposition from and emphasis.
looking into his investigation.
No, when you say develop from, it's kind of attached to it.
If
Oh, no, I'm developing a paper. That's also a correct sentence,
Yeah,
actually.
right. But if you develop a paper from, or you say to,
No, not necessarily. Depends on the next object.
right? Because
But if there is nothing else, then only for this sentence, if I write, I'm developing a paper.
if I'm
Or-
developing this machine from specific material.
Yes. Yes.
This is what comes here in number 4. If you say energy from the grid and start.
It has a preposition followed by that? Yeah.
The third line.
From, correct. So the verb, the preposition from actually confirms that we cannot investigate from.
Right. To.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one point. Logic. It's a good logic. But yes, we can, if we do not have this preposition, we can write, I'm developing this project. We can use the verb in that way. Cool. So what about the third one? Didn't talk much about the third one. The purpose of this paper is to try to figure out what is lacking in our current understanding. Which group 3? Jeff's group, right? Go ahead.
To determine.
Anyone who would like to differ? We all agree? Yeah? The purpose of this paper is to determine what is lacking. Correct. The next one? Group 4.
I think he mentioned 4, right? Or
Oh, we are done with 4. 5.
Constitute.
Perfect. Anyone who'd like to offer any other suggestion? You all agree? Number 6. It's quite easy. Group 1. Eliminate. Number 7. Gone up. Group 2.
Reach.
Reached. Correct. Or, I mean, we don't have increased maybe, right?
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, reached. Number 8. Next group.
Maintain.
Keep up, maintain. Perfect. Gone down.
decrease.
Yes. Thinking about. I'm not asking for alternative suggestions because I'm pretty sure everyone will agree with these options. We answered number 10? Considering. So now we get a pretty basic idea of vocabulary. So we'll try to avoid phrasal verbs in academic writing, and we would prefer Latinate verbs as precise as possible. Now let's have a look at another example. I want to discuss this. Where is this? Gotcha. So let's read these two sentences. Someone who'd like to volunteer the first one, the emergence of English. Who'd like to volunteer? Someone else who didn't do before.
The emergence of English as the international language of scientific communication has been widely documented.
Gotcha. Carol raised hand for, you read the second one.
English has emerged as the international language of scientific communication. This phenomenon has been widely documented.
So we have two styles of writing here. It's not answered which one we should actually do. I'm asking you all, with your own reasoning, which one would you prefer and why? We can have this discussion right now. And please volunteer. I'll not address each and ask. Please volunteer. Which one would you prefer and why?
Well, I have a silly reason.
Hmm.
Make it long, so I'm gonna go with the second one.
Yeah, that's not a silly reason, by the way. That's a very logical reason. Yeah, so that's what we call nominalization. But sometimes we need it. So that's why I'm having this argument. I'm sure we'll have both the options. But people might prefer even the first one. And we see this kind of styles a lot. It's not like we don't see it at all, right? So I'm asking you all, which one would you prefer and why? So I got your answer. Okay, this one is pretty long. And this one is broken down into two sentences.
Right.
Anyone else would like to say something about your preference? You can read. Anyone else?
The second one is better because the first one contains like many details. It's like,
Do you feel like it's hard to follow?
yeah, exactly. The first one.
Awesome. Jeff?
Actually, I would go for the first one.
Okay.
For the opposite reason, because I think it's not that complicated. So breaking down one sentence that could be in two sentences, I mean, that could be.
That's a very nice logic. So his logic is, this is bigger.
Yeah.
This is shorter. Right, Jeff?
Yeah. And the information in the second one is not like a lot of information, so you can have it in one sentence.
Okay. So the subject is one, and the purpose or the message of sentence is one message. So you prefer that this is precise than this. Anyone else? You raised hand.
I was gonna say, yeah, the first one too. I mean, my field usually, you have to write concise, especially we need to be very concise when we are delivering information to public officials. So the second one might be like, the first one had make to the point. The second one is too like too large, I guess. Yeah.
Anyone else would like to say something? I'll give my opinion in the end. Anyone else? We only had 3 versions out of possibly 10-12 students. Feel free. If you have a different logic, or if you have the same logic, just say that I have the same point of view. Either with I did, or please go ahead.
I also was gonna say I have an argument for the second one because the
Okay.
second one, if I'm like knowing myself as a how I write sometimes, I will definitely do that first, right? Because I'm just putting my first thought and then the second thought. Like it seems like the second seems like a follow of the first one, but it's just to help me to put the ideas there. But that's my argument for the second one.
Nice logic. Anyone else would like to say something else? No?
Like the first one is point out the item let you can track the even it's that long, you can track the main body, like the emergence, so it can be more easy to understand. Like for the second sentence, you need to check out the phenomenon. Like you need to go back to
The next sentence
Yeah.
to understand the whole concept. Okay, so now my opinion would be title. If I give a title of these two sentences, would be different. We have to understand that as well. Depends on what you're writing about. Here it's talking about emergence. Here it's not talking about emergence. So the topic is actually different. If your topic is emergence, then you can write in this way. That means you're talking about the emergence of English. Here it has used it as a verb. So the question might be different. Let's say, why do we study English? Then this sentence seems to be a good response. Definitely, if someone asks me, why do we study English as a language? Even we are studying, let's say, computer science, right? So then the subject of the sentence of my response should start with English. Make sense? But if I'm writing something on the emergence of English, then my subject could be perfect as this, the emergence. So it varies from topic to topic. We can use nominalization when it's needed. That's why also in this unit, in this chapter, it's not like the authors have provided a particular answer, this one you must use. It depends from context to context. Now, the next point.
Let's assume they are similar topic. Which
This-
one you would choose? Let's assume that.
Now, what's the similar topic? If the similar topic talks about, the essay is about how, if it's about the emergence of English, then this is a better sentence to start with. But if it's about something else, let's say it's about how widely it is documented, then this is a better sentence. You know what I mean? So it depends on the thesis statement of the paper. Now let's talk about this particular phrase. When we'll have actually complicated data, bigger paragraphs, or complex data, lots of information you have, this sentence style will help you not to get lost. That's what I can say. For example, why I'm saying it, I'm not saying it because of the first sentence. About the first sentence, depends on the topic. I'm talking about the second sentence. We'll read a few, within a while, we'll read a few paragraphs and essays from this book. And we call it demonstrative adjective. This. And then a subject. Now, how this structure, which we call this, such, these, depends singular, plural, whatever we use, how it maintains a better flow. That would be our topic after a while. Just giving you a heads up. Now let's do some more work on preciseness. Very short. Task 13. Please.
No.
Can I say something?
I don't.
Okay. Task 13. In the same way, we did 11. So we'll do it together, the same group. Can we? Here also we have two options. Choose the best ones you think that fits. We can do only maybe 1 to 5 because 6 to 9 is already written in that digital book. Also have a look at 6 to 9 or 10, the other ones, just for your understanding. The same way, it also uses it also suggests you to use preciseness. If you can explain something with shorter words, do not go for longer words. It's pretty short. We are done? We're done? Done? Yeah, cool. Let's discuss. The first one, crash test dummies are really important for or an integral part of automotive crash tests.
From where would you like to start? From here?
Yeah, from this group.
Okay, an integral part.
Nice, thank you. Also, we have such similar examples like you'd see a lot of change has been perceived. And we cannot use a lot of, rather you can say significant change has been observed or perceived. An integral part of. The next one? Yeah, next group. Nice, yes. Thank you. Anyone who'd like to differ? You all agree? Third one. Go ahead, anyone? Yeah. Huh? Considerable, correct. A lot of is non-academic, little informal. Considerable interest is academic and formal. The fourth one. Robust, yes. Usage of such adjectives like nice, beautiful, wonderful, excellent. These are non-academic. These are abstract now, which has no meaning. Do you understand by the word has no meaning? Because what is beautiful to me might not be beautiful to you. So it's very vague. Huh? Right, correct. So we have to use objective tone and objective words. So emotive language we'll avoid. Abstract nouns we avoid. This is quite easier. Increasing. Getting bigger and bigger is very non-academic. Okay? Now let's have a look at an essay on page 4 and 5. Let me take you there. And what we will do there, page 4. Gotcha. Task 3. Are we all here? Two passages you would see here, A and B. You all could get it there? Now, what I want you to do, my suggestion is have a look at this board, and when you're reading any passage from now on, try to look for these 4 points. How the nominalization happened, used, or they didn't use nominalization, or the kind of verbs they use with the Latinate verbs, also tense. You might see somewhere we use past and somewhere we use present. Why? We'll discover that and discuss that. Demonstrative adjective, the way just we have seen one example like this, and then the subject is represented. This phenomena was documented, or widely documented. So this phenomena, this kind of structures, demonstrative adjective. And the next point is how terms are used, scientific terms, or definitions, terms that we do not know, or might be field specific, only a field specific expert might know. So those kind of terms, how they are defining those terms. Now these are my suggestions. Apart from these 4, when you'll be reading it, there are a few questions at the end of this passage.
This small numbers, the black circles.
Sentence number. So it's easy to talk. Sentence number 5, sentence number 4, 3, 2, 1. So 4 questions you can see here. 4 questions and 4 points to have in mind while reading. After you are done with reading, you have to discuss these 4 questions among the group mates, and then we'll discuss together. All good? Let's begin.
Who's Jeff?
Nominalization, the emergence of English has emerged. So long string of words. Yeah, so emergence actually is, we use as a noun, but it is actually a verb. Intensification. It is actually, the root is a verb, intense. Right? Intensified. Something has been intensified. Increased. These are more used as a verb, but also can be converted as a noun. That's what I'm saying. And sometimes we might need to, but we see that if we do that, the sentence becomes more complex, hard to follow. So nominalizations are hard to follow.
Because it changes effect to the subject. And
It has an effect on understanding what's the subject of the sentence. Right? When we are saying English has emerged as an international language, the sentence is pretty easy to follow.
It's not passive. In reality, it's a passive process.
Yeah, actually it's not passive, verb-wise speaking, right?
Yeah, grammatically is correct.
Yes.
When you try to understand, English is not by itself.
Yes.
So people is using English.
Yes, so the emergence of English, which is, that's nominalization.
Where do we find the link to the website? Globalization.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it.
Oh, can you go to my slide?
Should be used as a,
Go to that nominalization.
as a subject.
Correct.
Video from the reasons to
Got it? The website link is embedded in the slide. Website for nominalization and word choice. If you want to study further, see more examples, exercises, these two sites, nominalizations and word choice. The websites are embedded in the slide. We shall start discussing? Or need? Let's discuss it. Done?
So, what was the first way? This is just a box.
Like background or history, not like
The second one is
it's like dance and scientific. The first one is about what we want to do for I usually
how did that happen?
as a normal person,
So I know.
I'm a normal person because
Why is
I
it
Yeah.
for this, not like the second one. Yeah, I agree with this.
But it says what it is.
It's like, I have to do that, I can do 1, 2, 3 seconds.
Let's discuss together. I guess we are done.
Okay.
Shall we?
I don't know.
So, group 1, can we start? Yeah, that's fine, no worries. So how do the texts differ in terms of vocabulary? What do you think?
Oh,
There's a difference? Group 1, I mean any three of you can answer.
yeah.
Yeah. It seems to be that the proverb B contains a lot of technical terms,
Right?
and then so it contains a lot of information that we do not know.
Yeah, so the audience, the first point that we have started our class today, the audience is different for these two texts, right?
True.
On the other hand, proverb A is very plain,
Mm-hmm.
so we can understand the easy way.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
it seems to be they try to show the same information, but audience different. So the terms and vocabularies they use are different.
Different, very different.
Yeah.
Anyone who is from this discipline? Who knows this term very well, so let's say reverse osmosis. Anyone? No? It's fine. Huh?
It's like material science.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no one is particularly from this discipline, right? So this, the passage B is quite unknown to all of us. So we all would prefer passage A, that's why? You want to differ? Please go ahead.
I mean, it depends, again, it depends on the audience.
It depends on the audience.
And also the topic.
Yes.
So
what kind of audience you are particularly? That's what I'm asking.
I'm the more scientific audience who's.
So who would prefer passage B?
Yeah.
Right.
Passage B.
And both are correct. Passage A and B depends on the audience, where you're submitting, who's your supervisor, who's the reader, where you are publishing it. It depends on everything. So both are correct, depends on your audience. You can choose your vocabulary and style. For passage A, we can easily see the language is very generic. Anyone will understand what is reverse osmosis for passage A, right?
Yeah.
Now let's talk about this demonstrative adjective, the way flows maintained. Group 2, have you did you see anything? Have you found anything like that?
In terms of the details.
Yes, demonstrative adjectives like sentence 3. Let's have a look here. This process works well. This is called demonstrative adjective. These are called flow makers, which maintains the flow that takes you from one sentence to the other. Also in passage B, the first striking point in passage B is it starts with the term. It starts with RO, reverse osmosis. But passage A explains what is RO in the end of the passage. So that defines the audience. That means here, it is expected that you know what is RO. Then you can place it as your subject. Make sense? Otherwise, you won't place it as your subject. If you want your audience to know about RO, you're not expecting they already know about it. That's the difference. Now let's have a look at another passage with the same kind of style. Task 8, page 12. Page 12, task 8.
We can't access it.
Why? Okay, task.
You all got the page? Here is it. Ghana. same here. We'll read, and there are a few questions after the passage. And we'll try to be a little faster because we don't have much time left. And here the writer is assuming that we do not know anything about Ghana. That's how it starts, by the way.
Yeah.
It explains where the location is. It explains what the capital city of Ghana is later on. So it's just giving you some heads up. Page 12, did you get it?
This is my first page.
Yeah, so this is page 3. Now you just go to page 12.
Oh,
Then you go. Yeah.
it's page number 22 on the side. On the, oh, it's page 22. I was still following.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Okay.
We might not have enough time to answer all the questions, so I'm generating a new question. Try to find out that sentence where you get the objective of this passage. Sentence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14. So just tell me the number. This sentence tells it speaks about the objective of this passage. And it has to be one sentence. Any number that talks about that you think can be the objective of this passage.
7.
We all are done? Got that one sentence? I don't want to rush. We all are done, right? We can discuss? Which one? Maybe speak out loud. No worries. Anyone can. Which one is that sentence, huh?
The objective sentence?
Yes.
Number 14, the last sentence.
Number 14, okay. Anyone else would like to differ? Arguments on the table, please.
6 and 7. It's just that 7 does talk about the health risks that is addressed in the entire paragraph.
Okay.
But what health risks? It's linked to the sentence number 6. So 6 and 7.
Okay. Anyone else who'd like to say something else or the same? No one? Group 4, 2. What do you think? Which one is the group 2?
Well, I agree with number 14.
14? And what's yours? 14? Okay. What do we understand by objective?
The main topic of the
So I would go for number 7. And why? Let me explain. 14 is one of the solution it's providing. It provided 2 solutions. In 12 also it provided a solution, and then or 11 maybe. And then countering that solution, that solution might not be effective because it will be very costly, it might not be affordable, we will bear the cost. And then it proposes another solution, and which is not the end of the passage, by the way. So we might expect there could be more solutions, more counter arguments that how that solution will be worked out. 7 is the topic based on which you are developing solutions and contradictions. The objective that how we can manage the risk, the health hazards of e-waste and e-cycling, right?
Yeah.
So I would go for 7. Another clue, but this is not an absolute clue. The linker, however, usually introduces the gap. It introduces the topic, the objective, but not always. There might be multiple, however, in a passage. We'll discover another example in the coming classes, in the coming weeks, where we have to find out that particular thing, objective, among multiple howevers.
But-
Okay? Please go
but
ahead.
when you introduce the word however in the beginning of the sentence, it's linked to the previous sentence, right?
Definitely.
So then
Definitely.
isn't this
So we can say this is the background and this is the gap. It's like you mention the situation, then you mention the problem. And while that transition is happening, you need a linker.
Yeah.
Because it's not a continuation of that situation. Rather, you're transitioning from situation to problem.
Yeah.
So that's why we use linkers like this, however. Make sense? Yeah. Because this is kind of background, the situation.
Yeah.
And here you are actually directly pointing out the problem.
But does the sentence that describes the objective have to stand, like, by itself, does it have to make sense? Because by itself, number 7 doesn't make sense. Right?
Gotcha, definitely. We'll see also more examples where 2-3 sentences will be actually the objective. Even though one might have the linker, however.
Okay.
We'll look into those examples in the coming classes. Thank you for the queries. We can wrap up today. Now my concern is, before we meet again, you can see here in Canvas, I have uploaded the pre-class tasks, right? Week 3. So the things that you have to watch, feel free, please do it before coming to the class. It will be easier for us to progress. Thank you, have a good week. And you can check the previous materials in Canvas. All the in-class materials and also pre-class, it's divided like this. Yeah? And email me if you have any query, if you find any difficulty, just email me.